everyone. My name is Connie Rose. I am a platinum leader with Solex, and it is my joy and honor to bring to you Miss Wendy Brennan, who is the CEO of Soundnotic and another platinum leader inside of Solex. She is going to be doing an amazing presentation. She has put so many hours of work into this presentation. You're going to love it. You're going to learn so much. So you might want to have something to take notes. And we are doing this as a recording, so you could also go back and listen to the recording. So I'm going to turn it over to Wendy. And thank you so much for all that you do for us, Wendy. I'm excited about this presentation. And again, thank you for all that you do for our group. You're amazing.
Well, you're very welcome. You know, it's a labor of love for me. I love educating on this topic. So, hello, everyone, and welcome to our Lift Your Vibration to Shift Your Experience conversation. I'm very grateful you chose to spend your time with us tonight. My name is Wendy Brennan. I'm a frequency wellness provider. I use quantum frequency and energy-based tools to help people release energetic blockages, rebalance their systems, and realign with their natural state of well-being. My work supports emotional, physical, and spiritual alignment by tuning the body's biofield, the energetic field that surrounds and informs our bodies. It's a holistic approach to wellness that addresses the subtle layers where imbalance often begins. This evening, we will fully explain what a biofield is and the benefits of biofield tuning. It can be done easily and effectively by a practitioner or acquiring software so you can do it yourself. We will also be talking a lot about the science and the history behind frequency wellness in order to edify and bolster the really cool things that we're going to be sharing with you tonight. Please note, this is our foundational discussion for you to understand what we do, why we do it, and to learn about the frequency itself. At the end, I'll share an invitation to our follow-up Zoom hosted by Ms. Connie Rose, who you just met at the beginning. That will be next week on Thursday, July 17th. This is where she will go deep into the software modules so that you know exactly what the software can do in all the ways. And it will also include an invitation to learn more about the company that makes our scanner software. We will offer a Q&A session after this Zoom is ended. And for privacy, at that point, we are going to turn the recording off in case you want to talk about some personal matters in regards to your own health situation. Okay, so got ahead of myself. You know yourself best as a biochemical and biomechanical being. You spend time thinking about how to take care of your body in the sense of how to feed it good quality food and high vibrational nutritional supplements. And I'm sure you also spend time thinking about how to keep your body fit and strong because you know that a body in motion will stay in motion. But now let me tell you about another aspect of you that has its own intelligence and communicates with your chemical and mechanical nature. And that is your bioelectrical body. Not to be confused with the electricity that runs your nervous system. So unlike machines, all living organisms have an immense network of internal and external interconnections across which information, and the key word there is information, flows to modulate life functions. The continuous exchange of information in living systems to maintain their integrity is mind-boggling. The body's miraculous, isn't it? The latest research from some of the most respected institutions is now confirming what ancient civilizations have long since known, that we all have a personal energy field. It was once called the aura, and in the past it was dismissed because if you began talking about your aura, people would just kind of blow you off thinking you were a little hippy-dippy or lost in the woo-woo. But now, amongst frequency wellness practitioners and academia, the updated term for aura is now collectively agreed upon as biofield and is presented as such in published research papers. The concept of biofield regulation offers a shift from a mechanical chemistry-based view of biology to an information-based view, and modern-day scientists are discovering some pretty fascinating things about how your biofield communicates information to all of your body systems. Your biofield is a field of energy that surrounds and permeates your body and is produced by your heart. This creates a toroidal field that can be measured and is a very important governor of your health. Let's set Suko in here. There we go. If your biofield is weak and compromised, your health will be weak and compromised because it is essentially a communication system. Eileen McCusick, author of The Human Biofield, has been working with frequency for 30 years. She discovered that your biofield has a specific physiology and anatomy. Scientific studies done at the highest levels are bearing this out. She tells us our biofield holds our thoughts and feelings, and it's where our memory is stored. It is your subconscious, therefore, it is your sense of self. Interesting, right? We think all that's happening right here in the mind, and it's actually all around us. We know that our subconscious mind drives our actions. What if we have been working hard with our conscious mind, our willpower, when all we needed to do was figure out how to clean up our biofield so that our subconscious mind delivers that to us, which we say we want in the areas of physical, mental, and emotional health. This is truly amazing information, and you just don't know how happy I am to be able to share all of these discoveries that I've discovered in the last 2 years with you tonight. It took me a fair amount of time to make all these connections I'm sharing with you. I've been doing this talk since April of 2024. This presentation is probably my 7th iteration because I keep learning more and I keep having big aha moments that I want to bring to you. Along the way, I've discovered, in addition to my joy of helping people with their health challenges, I also love being an educator. I'm jazzed by this idea that we're on the front end of something as impactful as I've seen our technology to be, that I get to share this technology with my clients, and perhaps in the future, I'll get to lock arms with like-minded people who also want to use this technology to help their own families. I'm hoping this presentation opens up a whole new world of thought for you about how our universe actually behaves and how all humans and animals can interact with universal laws to our best advantage. It's an exciting time to be able to play a part in complementary medicine and integrative wellness solutions. A lot of great things are happening in mainstream medicine, but I think many people have been concerned for some time about the direction the industry is headed. It seems more than ever people are ready to engage in self-education and enter into more conscious living by exploring holistic healthcare and taking a proactive approach to their own self-care. Western medicine does not attend to the whole because it is designed to deal in the individual parts. But finally, the time has arrived where scientific and empirical evidence are revealing the impact energy medicine has on our bioelectrical bodies. Biofield imbalances that are not addressed could lead to physical pain or some other symptom over time. And point of fact, a majority of chronic diseases actually begin with an emotional event. And then those emotions get stored in your biofield as stuck energy. Energy practitioners know how to move stuck energy, tune up your biofield, clear the chaos, and allow your body to get into a coherent state. As a result, your overall vibration rises and your cells communicate better. The software technology I use with my clients employs sound frequency, radionics, and scalar energy. Neither I nor the technology is doing the healing. Your body is the healer designed that way by our creator. If you're thinking, well, my body's not working so well right now, I do understand. We've had many years for our electromagnetic bodies to encounter multiple disruptions, which, if not attended to, manifest unwelcome states of being. We just need to silence the chaos that brought you to the non-coherent state. A very efficient way of doing that is by applying gentle sound and scalar frequencies. So that is a picture of your biofield. All right, American inventor Nikola Tesla, a pioneer of electrical technology, said, if you could eliminate certain outside frequencies that interfered in our bodies, we would have a greater resistance toward disease. Frequencies have either a healing or weakening effect on our physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Our environment has been subjected to ever-growing amounts of electromagnetic pollution due to industrialization and technological development, and this interferes with our body's ability to stay in sync with Earth's natural vibrations. This interference can negatively affect the body's immune system, energy levels, and sleep quality. It could be one of the reasons why so many people often feel stressed and anxious. There are many types of pollutants that can lower healthy body frequency. Processed food is dead food and has a very low vibrational frequency since the enzymes have been destroyed in the process of making it. Consider the pollutants we breathe, the toxicity in our soil, cleaning products, makeup and hygiene products, not to mention the stress produced from toxic relationships and stressful careers. It can be overwhelming, and it has been for many. But the good news is that the situations that we are subjected to that allow for the progression of mounting stress in the body, which then leads to inflammation and then to disease, can be changed, transmuted through the application of electromagnetic waves carrying very specific signature frequencies and used in a specific way. Frequency wellness is a form of energy medicine using specific frequencies delivered from an energy carrier that derives its strength and effectiveness from an invisible energy network called the quantum field and transmits healing signals without requiring physical contact. The use of frequency for supporting wellness is the cutting edge of complementary health modalities and refers to a type of wellness service developed in the early 1900s based on ideas of resonance and vibration. Frequency wellness is a broad term and can encompass sound therapy, light therapy, color therapy, and even directed scalar energy waves, either in person and can even be done remotely. Intention is the secret sauce to much of what we do. So if you provide scalar energy to someone with our technology and you're clear on your intention, their biofield will receive it. So in physics, there are four fundamental forces of nature. We'll focus on electromagnetic force since it's the dominant force in the interaction of atoms and molecules, and that which our bodies and our universe are comprised of. We are electromagnetic beings living in an electromagnetic environment, and we emit frequency outward to our environment and also receive it from our environment. How far out our energy goes depends on how high your overall frequency is. We do affect one another with our biofield, which I'm sure makes a lot of sense to you if you ever recall walking up to someone and immediately feeling an uncomfortable sensation, or the opposite, perhaps you were immediately drawn to someone. All right, everyone, let's get metaphysical. Our universe is comprised of the quantum field. This is a place full of possibilities that acts in extraordinary ways that are hard to explain, for it is an invisible yet intelligent energy field. And get this, in the quantum field, thoughts and emotions impact reality. This has been proven in the double slit experiment, which describes the behavior of matter and energy at the atomic and subatomic levels. That study revealed that particles can exhibit both wave-like and particle-like duality in light and matter. It all depends on the observer. Yes, real Star Trek stuff happens in the quantum field. We were taught classical Newtonian physics in school, not quantum physics, so for many, this is new information. Let's talk about scalar waves real quick. Scalar fields are mathematical constructs that describe the behavior of certain particles within the quantum framework. These waves are superluminal, which means they move faster than the speed of light. They're unbounded by the limitations of 3D space, and they move through the empty space between all matter. You can think of it as nature's Wi-Fi. It's a subtle, nonlinear energy that influences matter without needing direct force. It's different than sound waves because sound waves actually need vibratory force to produce that sound. Since the human body is made up of atoms and molecules, just like the universe, it makes sense that our bodies would function according to the laws of nature that govern the universe, right? Every cell in the body can be seen as a tiny battery with its own voltage. Dr. Jerry Tennant, in his book Healing is Voltage, states our DNA has its own battery using scalar energy. DNA and scalar energy in the same sentence. Maybe we should be paying close attention. I love Tesla, and I'm going to be quoting him a lot. His famous quote is, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And there is another term I want to explain to you called resonance. Resonance, when referring to the human body, is the amplification of cellular vibration through related cells, tissues, organs, and systems. Resonance can amplify good vibrations cell by cell to restore balance. Through the use of resonance theory, a sound practitioner can influence cellular vibration and therefore cellular communication to stimulate well-being and healing. This occurs by playing sounds that oscillate at a particular frequency in an effort to synchronize with the frequency of the body. Anyone here a musician? When you hear the words oscillate and synchronize, you may think of a metronome. You can put multiple metronomes side by side. You'll be starting out moving at all different paces, and then in a short time, they will end up syncing up with one another, left to right perfectly. So if the frequencies in your biofield become chaotic and you want to get them synchronized with frequencies of perfect design, would you know how to do that? It won't surprise you that the easiest way I have found is to listen to the tones and the frequencies coming from our software. They allow for the chaotic frequencies to sync up with the perfect blueprint frequencies offered, 170,000 to be exact, and they are specifically curated for you to receive. You are now getting proper cell-to-cell communication. It's quite brilliant. Dr. W. Ross 80, a distinguished neurology professor who had a 50-year career in electromagnetic field research, once said, "Cells maintain their organized society by whispering together in a faint and private language. The whispers travel as chemical, electromagnetic, electronic, photonic, thermal, and sound messages." And speaking of sound, all frequency makes sound, but humans cannot hear all sounds. The best example is a dog whistle, with a pitch so high we don't hear it, but our dogs can. Humans and animals can sometimes feel sounds they cannot hear. This is particularly true for very low frequency sounds that are below the hearing threshold but can be felt as vibrations. The human body can perceive these low frequency vibrations, called infrasounds, through vibrotactile perception, where the entire body acts as a receptor for sound waves, not just the ears. This is one of the reasons why, even though you may not be able to audibly pick up a frequency from our software, it can still be impactful. If infrasound is low frequency, what do you think high frequency is called? Ultrasound. Frequency is an important parameter used in science and engineering to specify the rate of vibratory phenomena. Can you think of any other vibratory phenomena that is measured by frequency? How about light? The technical term for light is electromagnetic radiation. Light also communicates with our cells, and the natural light of the sun is the very best form of electromagnetic radiation you can give your body. It is like healthy food for your biofield. Did you know different colors have different frequencies also? The frequency of light determines its color. Here's the anatomical reason sound works so well on our body. If you have a nerve in your head, we have a nerve in our head called the vagus nerve. It's a two-way information highway to the brain, instructing the biochemistry of your body in every moment. It has two main functions. First, to check and make sure all of your organs are functioning properly, and then restore and repair. Second, to kickstart the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your anti-stress, rest, and digest response. It controls involuntary activities such as increasing the rate of gastric emptying and stimulating acid production when needed. Aren't you glad you don't have to think about the millions of things that are going on in your body all at once? It'd be really hard to focus on anything else. Okay, I've come to believe that it is vital that we understand this powerhouse nerve and appreciate all it does for us. We should know about it and want to take care of it. It is the longest cranial nerve of the 12 you have and starts from your brain and travels down each side of your neck like a net. And it encompasses all your major organs: brainstem, skull, neck, chest, heart, lungs, abdomen, and intestines. See why I say it's a powerhouse? Damage to the vagus nerve can cause pain in the neck, as well as other symptoms such as voice issues, throat problems, increased heart rate, brain fog, gut problems, tinnitus, and much more. Damage is generally caused by inflammation from viruses and toxic heavy metals. That is where we can help. We can apply heavy metal and virus detox frequencies to lessen inflammation in the vagus nerve. When I was very new, I treated a client over the phone who had passed out from vagal nerve issues, but the paramedics thought he had had a heart attack and they gave him CPR on the street. His neck and his head were so sore from not being on a soft surface, and his chest was very bruised. So, this is a story that demonstrates synchronicity. I was thinking of a friend of mine. I needed to call her to get an answer question for another friend, only to find out that her husband was in the hospital and in all this pain. I told her, I caught her up to with what I'd been doing and how effective it can be. And she told him about it, but he didn't believe I could help him. He just kind of blew me off. When he got home, the pain was really still quite intense. So he thought, well, why not go ahead and give it a try? Now they lived an hour and a half away. So I just got him on the phone. I had him listen. And when done, I texted my friend to go check on her husband. She called me back in 15 minutes and she said, he was smiling during most of the process. He is so impressed with this. And she said, we want it right now. And so in 10 minutes, I said, get your computer. And in 10 minutes, we had her signed up. They had access to their software and they're using it to this day. And now she's watching her grandkids full time. And it's very helpful with the babies. Yeah, when they get a little fussy and everything, it's really great. Calms them down. And I'll add right now that it's really helpful with animals too, which is great because they don't know what's going on and you can see them respond, and that's just really cool thing. Okay, so that is just one of the many fabulous stories that I have. I was just blown away constantly when I got started helping people and everything that was happening. So what we decided to do was let's make a Telegram testimonies channel where we can invite people to come to our channel and they can see our stories, because we have a lot of people on our team that are going out and helping other people. They get their own stories, and that's just mine. And these babies are just too good to hold on to. So we wanted to share with everybody so they could see the work we're doing and ask questions along the way in that group chat. So Connie and I are very proud of the many testimonies that you're going to see in there, because they come from people that we assisted in their learning journey to the point that they then have the knowledge and confidence to then go help others. And now they're teaching the people that they helped, and so on and so on. So it's a truly beautiful thing to see this spread. It's a lot of fun, and it's really not difficult to learn the basics to get started. I mean, if you can press a few buttons and just listen, that's about how difficult it is. A lot of my favorite stories came from when I was new and I didn't know very much at all. And I certainly didn't have a procedural checklist to follow like I've been able to create now and share with others. So in time, we just simply keep layering on more knowledge, figuring out new ways to help people, adding that in, sharing that information, getting great results and moving forward. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about our first scientist. This is, I want you to take note, this is the mid 1800s. This goes back quite a ways. So James Clerk Maxwell's quantitative connection between light and electromagnetism is considered one of the great accomplishments of 19th century mathematical physics. His discoveries laid the foundation for such fields as special relativity and quantum mechanics, and established electromagnetism as the second universal force. Maxwell's work was a strong influence for modern-day quantum scientists such as Max Planck, Albert Einstein, and Nikola Tesla. And in the 1920s, electromagnetism became a central player in quantum chemistry and has been more recently described as controlling all chemical reactions, including life itself. And Tesla said, our entire biological system, the brain, and the earth itself work on the same frequencies. Everything vibrates. On a quantum level, everything is vibrating at various frequencies. These vibrations influence our life in subtle yet profound ways. Planet Earth has what's known as a natural frequency or a fundamental frequency, and it's called the Schumann resonance. Some refer to it as the heartbeat of the Earth. It's around 7.83 hertz. The Schumann resonances are quasi-standing electromagnetic waves that exist in the space between the surface of the Earth and the ionosphere. The Schumann resonance surrounds and protects all living things on the planet. As Tesla said, the Earth's natural frequency matches our brain's relaxed state. Scientific studies show that the human brain reaches its ultimate potential for health and wellness when it resonates with the Earth's frequency of 7.83 hertz, which is slightly elevated from the theta brainwave state. And I just want you to imagine if we were able to maintain this relaxed state of mind all the time, That might be what we refer to as heaven on earth. And that is why we love our inner voice program so much, because that is the one that for the emotional balancing, it just really brings peace and calm and just overall balance to the emotional body. And staying in sync with the Earth's natural frequency can positively affect physical and mental health, daily performance, and promote overall well-being. And this is the reason why grounding or anchoring yourself to the earth with bare feet is recommended, because you're getting those negative ions. It's not negative sounds bad, but it's not. Negative ions are good for you. And when you stand on the ground in bare feet, you're receiving all of that. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the history of sound therapy. It's important to note the use of frequency healing dates back to the time of ancient Greece and Egypt. Here we have the Egyptian ankh on the left, and then the sistrum. They're both instruments, sound instruments. Archaeologists have found a lot of ancient sound instruments in the many healing temples in Egypt and Greece. We also know now that pyramids were not created to be crypts for the pharaohs. No, no. They were ancient day supercomputers with sound technology so advanced it would blow your mind. Pyramids have been found all around the world, not just Egypt, and line up with our celestial planetary system. And I saw a video just last week, and I haven't included it in this talk yet, so I'm just going to tell you about it. There was a gentleman that was able to get deep down into the chambers and the crypts. He had severe back pain from a car accident for years. And when he came out of there, he never had back pain again. It's pretty incredible. Okay, so one reason I think the Egyptians worship cats is because Egyptians were frequency masters and they understood their healing power. Elizabeth von Muggenthaler is a specialist in the field of bioacoustics at the Fauna Communications Research Institute in North Carolina, and she measured and quantified the cat's purr. The average domestic cat purrs at a frequency of 25 to 150 hertz. Now, humans have a range of hearing between 20 to 20,000 hertz. So most of us can hear the purr. We can also feel the vibrations, but the cat's purr is unique in that it produces a multi-frequency. More research has shown that frequencies between 20 and 50 hertz increases bone density. Experiments have demonstrated that the same frequency range will also relax stubbornly tense muscles. So if you're a cat person and your kitty's purring, put them on you. Get all those purrs in for you. That's some free frequency right there. A study conducted at the University of South Florida in 2011 found that exposure to 111 hertz, again, that's in the purring range, has the potential to promote cellular regeneration and even alleviate pain. The same South Florida study suggested that specific frequencies may help reduce inflammation, stress, and discomfort in the body. And recent medical studies have found healing benefits produced by playing the didgeridoo. And that's from helping cases of sleep apnea to improving asthma management. That's pretty incredible, I think. Thanks to its low frequencies, the didgeridoo has been reported to provide relief to a wide range of joint, muscular, and skeletal related pain, as well as accelerated healing in various forms of bone trauma and muscle tears. And the Aboriginals didn't wait around for confirmation from scientific studies. They knew what was going on. So that was their natural frequency medicine right there. Okay, so Pythagoras, a Greek philosopher, mathematician, and inventor, is credited for creating the monochord. Its vibrations are used to calm and re-energize the mind and body. He taught harmonic healing and sound therapy for balancing the four humors, which were associated with the four elements. You may recall the Greeks were polytheistic. They believed in multiple gods like Zeus, Poseidon, Aphrodite, and they attributed all types of events to these gods. Pythagoras' theory was part of a larger Greek cultural movement towards naturalistic explanations of health and disease, moving away from the supernatural modes such as, oh, the gods must be angry. Okay, Qigong in China, you see that on the right, it's very popular now in the US, is used for the goal of balancing meridian frequencies. And the name literally translates to vital energy or life force. And on the left, on the top here, that is healing touch. Healing touch is biofield tuning. That's what people are doing with their own body energy. They're biofield tuning other people's field. And then below that, this is Reiki. With Reiki, you use the energy coming off of your hands in a different way. They're similar, but they do have a little bit different teaching methodologies. Let's go to the next one. Okay, Gregorian chants are often associated with spiritual and emotional healing. They promote relaxation and reduce anxiety. The sound waves act like a sonic massage, ridding the major energy centers in your body of blockages and restoring balance to the chakras. In India, Vedic chants and the Om frequency. On the bottom left there is the Om symbol with frequency emanating from it. And then on the right is Tibetan singing bowls. These can be struck and placed on the body just like a tuning fork. And of course, we have crystal singing bowls. If you've never had a sound bath, I highly recommend it, but make sure that the practitioner you go to is highly trained because you go there to relax. If your nervous system gets overstimulated, it'd be the complete opposite of the Zen experience that you were seeking. Our technology is designed to deliver gentle frequency to make subtle shifts over time, so you never have to worry about being overstimulated. All of these vibrational modalities I shared with you were created for the purpose of natural healing. They're centuries old, except for the crystal singing bowls. They have their very own unique history. And then except for Qigong, they all incorporate sound. Now that's a good case for sound healing, right? Goes back many, many centuries. While physicians in ancient times knew enough from observational medicine to detect a connection between sound and healing, it wasn't until mankind developed the technology of the 21st century that we began to consistently take measurements of the powerful impact frequency has on our mind and our bodies. Nobel Prize winner Dr. Albert St. Gorgie said, in every culture and in every medical condition, every medical tradition, before ours, healing was accomplished by moving energy. How very special it is that we are here at this time in history and able to work with the most modern technologies available. Now let's get back to another scientist and talk about their work in quantum physics. We've jumped up about 70 years now since we were with Maxwell. And about 100 years ago, scientists began to discover some new things about how energy and matter behave, and that you don't even need audible sound to affect positive shifts in the energetic body field. Max Planck made many contributions to theoretical physics, but his fame rests primarily on his role as an originator of quantum theory. He was a German theoretical physicist who discovered what is now called Planck's constant in 1900, and that work laid the foundation for quantum theory and won him a Nobel Prize for Physics in 1918. Are you a bit confused how frequency wellness support as a service was developed in the early 1900s, yet we're saying it's the cutting edge of complementary health modalities today? It may just be that it took another 100 years to quantify by measurement that frequencies affect change. Therefore, since not quantifiable, it was snubbed by the scientific community. But it also appears to me that this information was actively suppressed. I believe when something shows promise and there's lots of people reporting changes, intellectual curiosity should be enough to excite those in the medical community. But so we do really have to ask the question, why didn't it stay in the forefront? My research reveals it seems to coincide with the rise of the pharmaceutical industry in the early 1900s and the American Medical Association deciding to actively root out any what they called quack remedies. Of course, quackery would then be in the eye of the beholder then, right? So they got to tell us what was worthy and what was not. Since 1901, the American Medical Association has historically played a significant role in shaping medical education in the United States. I have no way to identify how or why Andrew Carnegie was associated with the AMA, but it is known that the Carnegie Foundation was significantly involved with medical schools and their educational structure. Andrew Carnegie was an industrialist who became one of the wealthiest and most influential figures in the American steel industry during the late 19th century, and he was known for his philanthropic activities. In 1908, only 7 years after the AMA got heavily involved in the medical educational system, the Carnegie Foundation commissioned Abraham Flexner to do a study on the state of health in the US and Canada, the state of health care. Although Flexner had never set foot inside a medical school, he was their first choice to lead a study of the American medical education system. The Flexner Report was then produced 2 years later, and it declared electromagnetism as an irregular science. It also dismissed other natural healing modalities. Medical schools that offered training in various disciplines, including osteopathic, chiropractic, eclectic medicine, naturopathy, and homeopathy, were told, drop these courses from your curriculum or you'll lose your accreditation and underwriting support. These schools tried to resist, but eventually complied with the report in order to keep their doors open. The aftermath of such a narrow approach to healthcare is still felt. As a result, doctors aren't taught biophysics or electromedicine in medical school, so they simply don't know the extent of the multifaceted landscape of the human body. Furthermore, the financial infrastructure of healthcare has evolved in the past century away from being patient-centric. All that was great in the past was ridiculed, condemned, combated, and suppressed, only to emerge all the more powerfully, all the more triumphantly from the struggle. Again, Nikola Tesla. And as we know, truth always seems to find a way to the light of day. Okay, talk about struggle. This guy went through it, and we owe him a lot. We're going to get into his story, but let's first talk about how frequency devices work. Frequency is delivered to the body on an energy carrier. Typical carriers for frequency are either electricity or radio waves, also known as radionics. Radios, satellite, cell phone, Wi-Fi, radar, and sonar. These are all examples of using energy to carry information. There are many devices available that are frequency generating machines, and a very common one that you may have heard of is the Rife machine, and it was created by Dr. Royal Rife in 1920. Dr. Rife found that every disease has a frequency. He also found that certain frequencies can prevent the development of disease and that others would destroy diseases by destroying toxins, parasites, and bacteria. Simply think of disease or dis-ease as misinformation. It's a disharmony in the way the cells are communicating. The body has received an error of information and has moved away from its perfect blueprint frequency. Okay, now to Dr. Rife. The University of Southern California appointed a special medical research committee to bring 1,000 terminal cancer patients from Pasadena County Hospital to Rife's San Diego clinic for treatment. The team included doctors and pathologists assigned to examine the patients when 90 days had passed, and only if, obviously, they were still alive. And guess what? 86.5% fully recovered. 13.5% of the patients required just a little more treatment, and in 4 more weeks, they fully recovered also, making for a 100% recovery rate of the 1,000 people in just 120 days using only frequency. The technology we use does contain all the right frequencies and a whole lot more. Am I saying that our scanner technology will cure cancer? I definitely can't make that statement. I want to protect my business and the company I'm affiliated with. But I will tell you this. All frequency providers are moved by helping others and bringing hope. Sometimes hope is the best gift you can give someone. And I like the odds that frequency wellness has demonstrated throughout history. It's safe, it's natural, it's affordable, and it works well with any other treatment options that you may opt for. How can you go wrong? What I just told you about Dr. Rife's accomplishments, really take that in. He successfully treated 1,000 patients diagnosed with incurable cancer in the 1930s. Nobody else was doing that, and it had to have been considered an impressive feat because he was subsequently honored with 14 awards and given an honorary doctorate. Sadly, After the unsuccessful attempt by pharmaceutical companies to buy out his research and equipment, his office was ransacked, his research paperwork was stolen, and the machine that healed 1,000 supposedly incurable cancer patients was then destroyed. Do you recall I said perhaps since we didn't have the technology to quantify frequency results, that may be the reason electromagnetism was snubbed? For that reason, I'm going to give Flexner a little slack for not believing in biophysics, since it was 1910 and the results cannot be scientifically quantified, only empirically observed. But I'm still suspicious of the motives of a large philanthropic organization who hires a non-medical person to evaluate the state of healthcare education, and then non-pharmaceutical methodologies are then maligned. Just food for thought. Okay, so now we're in the 1990s, and look what we can do now. The first frequency monitor in the world was produced by Bruce Tainio in the 1990s. Bruce Tainio's machine allowed the mapping of our organs' frequencies. Interestingly enough, although each organ is dependent on the other organs, they each have their own optimal frequency range. The specific frequency representing a particular item is called its signature frequency. Every person on our planet has their own very own personal frequency signature. It's as unique as your fingerprint. I bet you feel even more special and unique now, and you should. Tainio's frequency monitoring machine was certified as 100% accurate and is currently in use today. Our scanner can pick up internal organs that are not in balance and provide the optimizing frequencies. Using EasyScan, you simply scan and allow the system to optimize you, and you're done. You don't even have to sit there and wait. Just stay in. Well, you don't even have to be hearing it. You can have it in one room and you can be in the other room because it's working through scalar energy, as we discussed earlier. All matter vibrates because everything is or has a frequency. It's just a matter of taking a measurement to determine if it falls into a healing category. Multiple thousands of frequencies have been assigned healing properties at this point. Okay, there's several other natural modalities for healing that come to mind, and that would be whole foods, essential oils, and crystals. So I'm going to ask you to think just for a second, what do all of these have in common? And I know you can't answer because you're on mute, but the answer is they vibe high, they're high vibrational, and they come from Mother Earth. They're not man-made. God is widely considered a great provisioner in many religious contexts, particularly in Christianity. The Holy Bible mentions God's provisioning in quite a few biblical passages. Nearly everyone who has studied nutritional health is aware of this passage. Genesis 1, behold, I have given you every seed-bearing plant on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit contains seed. They will be yours for food. And regarding crystals, the Bible describes them in the context of God's creation and the beauty of his work. Ezekiel 28 mentions the king of Tyre being adorned with precious stones, including sardius, topaz, and diamond, among others. In Revelation 21, the New Jerusalem is described with walls adorned with various precious stones, including jasper, sapphire, agate, emerald, and onyx. I would like to think that crystals and precious stones were appreciated for their special abilities, not just their beauty. Whether God gave them to us specifically for their healing properties, I have not come upon that exact information yet, but God certainly provides many other high vibrational natural things of the earth for healing. And when we measure the frequencies of these gems, we see that they vibrate at a level that correlates to what we now know are healing vibrations. To me, it makes sense there was a bigger purpose for giving us these natural high vibe gemstones and crystals. James 5, is anyone among you sick? Let him call for the elders of the church and let them pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Lord. Essential oils help you heal faster because they carry the frequency of the plant. Those healing plants that God just told us, behold, I have given you every seed-bearing plant on the face of all the earth. Okay, and here's why it's so important to care for your central nervous system. These are the spine frequencies, and I'm sorry that this writing isn't bigger, but what this chart is showing, you can see how each vertebra has a frequency. what body parts are communicated with from this vertebra, and then the symptoms that arise when the frequency is off in the vertebra. And it's easy to pass frequency wellness off as a woo-woo concept, especially if you don't know the science behind it. But I'm telling you, this is not an esoteric concept, because currently in medicine, diagnostic machinery is used that employs frequency to measure the activity in your body. And you know it because you've had x-rays, MRIs, ultrasounds, EEGs, ECGs. And then the frequency therapies offered in medical institutions right now are TENS therapy, magnetic resonance therapy, pulsating electromagnetic field therapy, spectral analysis, and biofeedback. So you're already involved in frequency healing. About 6 months ago, in our Telegram testimonies page, one of our advocates posted that her client's mother was being treated in a cancer facility, and they were using frequency as part of her recovery plan. And then last year, a family member of mine told me that her rehab facility was using frequency to help her heal quicker after knee surgery. And when she found out what I was doing, she goes, "Oh, I believe that, because it's really helped me." And I got excited because she's like 80 years old, and she was like, all with me. It was great. All right, so here's an article I found while doing research for this talk. Scientists clear Alzheimer's plaque from mice using only light and sound. This is MIT. That's hardly a new age facility. Are you beginning to see the future of light, sound, scalar energy, and frequency medicine is moving full steam ahead? And then Albert Einstein said, concerning matter, we have been all wrong. What we have called matter is energy, whose vibration has been so lowered as to be perceptible to the senses. There is no matter. So the theme of light has been woven into this whole talk. And now wait for this doozy. Human beings emit elementary particles of light through chemical reactions in their bodies. These reactions occur when radicals interact with fats and proteins in cells, setting off a series of energetic reactions that involve fluorophores, which are molecules that give off photons. Scientists are now telling us we are 99.99999% energy and light. Wow, it's a lot to wrap your mind around, right? Because we do seem like mass. But we're all literally beings of light. And knowing this, why would we think that we could not heal ourselves with sound, light, and vibrational frequency? Light connects, it travels, it communicates throughout the universe, it awakens your cell communication using waves measured on the electromagnetic spectrum. All of us have a unique light inside of our bodies, literally a fingerprint of light and energy. When the light within us is bright and harmonious, our body is healthy and happy. But when the light within us is filled with chaos and confusion and clutter, our body is unhealthy and unhappy. Yes, even thoughts and emotions can be brought into balance with frequency, because thoughts are a frequency. Thoughts are a form of energy that can be described as waves. Yeah, brain waves. You know that. When we think, our brains release chemicals and hormones that generate electrical signals in neurons, which then propagate as waves to thousands of other neurons. These electrical signals are a form of electromagnetic radiation that travel at the speed of light. Ever thought about someone and they end up calling or texting minutes later? That happens pretty often, right? That is your thought energy, your brain waves traveling at the speed of light through the quantum field and hitting its intended target. It bears repeating. Intention is the secret sauce to our work. Remember the double slit experiment I told you about? The observer controls the outcome. Thought emits vibration, and all living matter reacts to vibration. The puzzle pieces are truly coming together. Technology like this is super helpful, but will not solve the world's problems until consciousness shifts. And that is going to bring us to the heart. The magnetic field of the heart is 100 times stronger than the magnetic field produced by the brain. You can measure the energy from the heart about 3 to 6 feet away from the body, and the brain only an inch away. We have our physical body. Hopefully you can see this on screen. And as you go out then out from there, you have your emotional body, then the mental body, and then the spiritual body. And all of those bodies are contained in your biofield, as you saw on that screen, the biofield coming around your body like this. We think our soul, our spirit is in our body, but our body is in our spirit. Our spirit is way too big to be contained in these meat suits we're in. And this perception we have of being separate is erroneous. We build mental constructs of separation. We do it to ourselves. There is no separation. We are all connected to one another. We are connected to all things, and how we think and what we think about is probably the most important thing to get right. Philippians 4:8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. So I tell you, want to change your life? Change the way you think. Change the way you think, and your vibration increases. Increase your vibration, and all kinds of synchronistic events will begin to start happening. I'll say sometimes it's a lot easier if you have a little tool to help you along, like our scanner. But for me, since using the scanner, what I have found, I've always kind of been a positive thinking person. I don't want to say always. I've really had to grow in certain stages of my life. But for, I'd say the last 20 years, I've been a very positive person. I understand manifestation and, how my thinking affects things. So I've been very in tune with that and working on that. But the scanners just kind of accelerated and moved me forward so much faster. I find it so much easier to express gratitude in the up and the down times. I feel like I see God working everywhere. I see perfection and divinity in everything. And life is just way more fun now. Okay. So who's going to argue with Albert Einstein? Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Okay, sir, I believe you. All right, the overarching goal by working on energy realignment is for the body to naturally restore its information system and return to normal metabolic function. Sometimes this can be a once and done, like we sometimes see for acute pain issues, but you really should think in terms of lifestyle, just as you would do with healthy eating or exercise. Getting one chiropractic adjustment in your life won't keep your spine healthy. Working out at the gym for one day will not build your muscles. And eating healthy every once in a while isn't going to get it either. For that reason, we highly recommend you make the choice every day to clear your biofield, check in with the frequencies of your internal body systems daily or at least weekly, and tune into what your voice has to tell you daily. Before I get into the features of the technology we use, I have a quick question for you. Anybody know who made this statement? Frequency intervention on a cell is 100 times more effective than chemical intervention. You might recognize this guy, Bruce Lipton. He's a cell biologist who wrote a book called The Biology of Belief. He's considered the father of epigenetics. When asked by a crystal singing bowl practitioner how effective he believes frequency is, that was his response. That's a truly powerful statement because you see, with frequency, it's instantaneous receipt of the information by the vagus nerve that then travels directly to the brain. It goes to work without anything getting in the way, unlike the inefficiency of taking medicine and having to break it down and then metabolize and then excrete it. Okay, I'm going to close with the technology that we use to help our clients. This will be just an overview. As I said, if you want to explore further, Connie will be doing a presentation next Thursday, July 17, that covers all the modules in depth and will also introduce you to the company that started it all. This company not only created their valuable flagship product, the Frequency software program, but they knew it could not be sold from store shelves. So they decided to create a platform where people like Connie and I can use their tools to help not just ourselves, but help others if we choose, to help people in our family. And if we want, we can even create a business around helping others. The software is called AOScan Mobile, and the company that created it is Solex. AOScan contains technologies inspired by discoveries from Tesla, Madame Curie, Einstein, and many other renowned scientists. It is designed to communicate with the body via subtle biofrequencies and electromagnetic signals. It uses bioresonance, sound, and scalar energy. AOScan has compiled a database of over 170,000 unique blueprint frequencies and developed a handheld technology that allows you to compare your personal frequencies with these blueprints to gently guide you back to your body's natural state. It incorporates radionics, contains the frequency of the Bach flowers, has all of the Rife frequencies, 74 tuning fork frequencies, 94 essential oil frequencies, and also uses a technology similar to HemiSync, which means instead of years and years of reading affirmations to yourself, you can record them and have them play back to you at different hertz in both ears, converging onto the center of your brain for quick acceptance of the information into your subconscious mind. That right there is biohacking. Incorporated into the scanner is a module that can go through your entire body and let you know of any imbalances in any organ systems. No need to worry when you see the imbalances. Just hit scan and it will optimize your body right in that moment. One of the greatest tools in our software is a module called Inner Voice. It receives 10 seconds of information from your speaking voice, runs a scan comparing 24,000 frequencies in your voice to the perfect blueprint frequencies, points out the imbalances in your emotional body, and then provides the counterbalancing harmonics to bring you back into emotional homeostasis. It will record 3 notes or octaves from the musical scale that are excessively out of balance, what we call overcompensated, as well as the main octave that is being suppressed. It will then generate 4 audio files that correspond to each of the balancing octaves outlined in the report. Those are emailed to you, as well as we separately include a short video to help you understand how to read your report. This technology has been around for at least 30 years, definitely not as lush as it is today with so many modules. Lauren Swenson, the owner, was selling it to functional medicine doctors, naturopaths, and chiropractors. But it was an entirely different type of delivery service and under his other company name. It was heavy and bulky, and 30 years ago, the equipment was like $35,000. So you can see why healing arts professionals with offices were his target market at that time. Then something significant happened in the tech world in 2017 called Windows 10. And Lauren made the decision to invest a lot of money in software developers. It took them 2.5 years before the scanner software could work on the new Windows 10 platform, but that allowed it to be accessed from a portable device. Lauren's dream was coming true that every home could now have access. AO is now portable, easy to use, and affordable for the average household. It is your wellness center of first resort, and it's with you 24/7. Burn your finger on the stove, run your frequencies to help it not blister. Get a little cut, run your frequencies to help it heal faster. With one account, you can have multiple client profiles. So that means you can help yourself and your family and all your friends and your neighbors if you want. And we do encourage you to help as many people as possible. You can even broadcast to multiple people at one time thanks to a new module called Multicast. Up to 16 people at once can receive frequencies from your account. Solis believes in a holistic approach to health and also carries a line of high-vibing, whole food nutritional products, high-tech nanoparticle nutritional supplements, and their Infinity line of quantum energy tools, all designed to impact your electromagnetic body positively through different approaches. How can frequency wellness transform your life? You are an energetic being that exists on many different levels. You exist on the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level. These different levels are merely different energetic aspects of who you are, different energetic densities. Most of us only see and perceive ourselves on the physical level because this is the densest level. The state of your health is very much a reflection of how efficiently these various parts of you are connected and are able to communicate. If you have an efficient connection of all the parts and stability and harmony among the parts, you will be in a state of coherence. This state of coherence will confer a higher vibratory state. And this higher vibratory state is conducive with deep healing, abundance, prosperity, elevation of your consciousness, and living your best life. Our daily lifestyle choices can have a big impact on the brightness of our light. AOScan simply has been developed to help remove the chaos and the clutter that is blocking organized and harmonious light. AOScan first assesses the chaos and the clutter, and then secondly, harmoniously optimizes the light within us. Daily assessing and optimizing enables each of us to be our very best self. AOScan is quite simply an impactful way to manage your daily health care. And Albert Einstein said, "The future of medicine will be the medicine of frequencies." The future is now. So my question for you is, are you ready? Everybody, I do appreciate your time and your attention. If you cannot stay for the Q&A portion of our call, please get back to the person that invited you with any questions you might have. And before we turn everything off, I just want to show you, this is the invitation for Connie's talk next week, where she goes really in detail with the scanner modules and the company behind Solex. So if you'd like the link to get on that call next Thursday evening at 7:30, just reach out to the person that invited you here. And Connie, let's go ahead and turn the recording off, and